There's been an ongoing story involving the Gizmodo Media Network or Gizmodo Media, whatever its name is. This is formerly part of Gawker, a very storied media agency. It was destroyed after a lawsuit by Hulk Hogan, financed by Peter Thiel. Parts of it were sold to Univision. Univision then mixed it around and sold it to a company called Great Hill Partners. And something truly profound has happened that has blown my mind completely and outright. One of the former employees pushing back on the new owners openly admits they push woke politics specifically to make money. I kid you not, saying it's not about editorial purity, it's about making money and growing the business. To me, this is rather shocking because you'd think most of these companies would try and claim they're sticking to their independent editorial standards. No. This woman, Megan Greenwell, in no uncertain terms, pushes back, saying it is absolutely not about idealistic journalists, unconcerned with profit, opposed against ruthless business doers. No, they say the real story is that journalists at Deadspin and its sister sites, like most journalists I know, are eager to do work that makes money. And I kid you not, reading into the story really did blow my mind to see someone at one of these companies admit they're a sports website. Deadspin is a sports website writing about politics and media. Why? And they openly admit it. To make money. To make money. They don't care about this stuff. They don't care about the ideas. They don't care about the politics. They care about making money. And this is, as I've said, I got a bunch of stories I want to go through. I want to show you this. This is, wow. I got to say, wow. I've talked about this for a while, that companies would get on Facebook, figure out what worked, and turn it into a formula. It's called rage bait to make people click. What ends up happening at a website like Deadspin, sports news without access, favor, or discretion, Major League Baseball, NFL, why your team sucks. Why are they talking about sports? Oh, it's interesting. There are a bunch of websites that can talk about politics. But what they've found is that instead of talking about sports, they can talk about politics and get a different audience. Why do that? Why not just make a political website? Well, all of these companies have found that politics generates more traffic. That's why we see Trump in the news all day, every day. This is why intersectional feminism is becoming so prominent. Intersectional feminism stuffs all the keywords into a story. So let me give you an example. Granted, I will state, this is my current working hypothesis, which is being researched, but check it out. If you make a story that has a keyword, say, I don't know, feminism, that's an X. We'll call it variable X. Let's say you have then men's rights, that's a Y. You could make an article about feminism and get X views, or an article about men's rights and get Y views, or write about both in the same article and get X plus Y views. Get it? What that means is if I write a story and post it to Facebook, the only people that are likely to see it are those that interact specifically with feminism. If I write about men's rights, the only people who interact with men's rights are going to see it and click on it because the algorithm is feeding it to people who they think might most like it. Combine the two and you get both audiences. Thus, woke media knows intersectionality, combining every possible keyword into one story, Black Lives Matter, police brutality, white, black, trans, etc., is going to get a bigger audience, and they want to make you angry because rage generates the most traffic. And sure enough, we have this story, The Adults in the Room, where I've already showed you, they say it's not about idealistic journalists. Now check this out. I'll do a search for editorial purity. I want to read you this section. The numbers apparently do not matter to my ostensibly numbers-obsessed bosses for reasons I can't quite understand. When I have told them that the data show that non-sports content brings more traffic and more revenue opportunities, I have been ignored. Maybe it's because there are websites for politics, and there needs to be a place for sports. Think about it this way. If you make a politics website and put all of those articles on that website, you'll get the same traffic. People who are looking for those stories will get it. But what about the people who just want to hear about the latest MMA match? Well, they're going to leave Deadspin. So yes, Deadspin may get that traffic from politics, but what about the other market you're ignoring? So it makes sense. The bosses are like, stick to sports. And that's what they're complaining about. Let's read more. When I have told them the data show that readers prefer publications with a distinctive point of view, that Deadspin succeeds precisely because it doesn't try to be all things to all people. Wait, what? You are. I have been told that being all things to all people is in fact exactly the way to grow page views. Now you're confusing me, I gotta be honest, because are you gonna talk about sports or are you gonna try and do everything? The reason my colleagues are not going to suddenly start sticking to sports is not about editorial purity. It's about the opportunity to grow the audience and make more money for Great Hill Partners. But the adults in the room know that we're wrong, despite all the evidence, because they just know. And there it is. And there it is. Now, in the past, a hit piece came out about Deadspin's new bosses complaining about the white people being hired. And everyone's immediate reaction was, they're trying to purge wokeness. I mean, that was my interpretation, and I still believe that to be the case. I would look at this from a business, if I were to look at this from a business point of view, here's what I see. You have a company that can attract a major sports audience, which is massive, and they are not. And you tell them, hey, leave the politics somewhere else. Let's do sports. They get angry. Why? Because politics content does better. I agree. Politics content does better than many sports articles. Fantastic. Great. So we'll make a website for politics. It doesn't mean they're it's like, imagine, let's do a restaurant analogy. If you opened a Chinese food restaurant and then somebody started selling pizza in the shop and the pizza started selling really well, and then you say to them, hey, listen, stop selling pizza. We're a Chinese food shop. They'll say, hey, but pizza sells better. That's great. How about we open a pizza shop then? Okay, there are people who specifically want one thing. You are removing the people who want that product because you found one product that does better. But here's the thing. The owners already have a pizza shop. They don't need 7. What they need is a diversified market, because I'll tell you this. When Deadspin goes full in for politics and the politics change, they will fall, and then there will be no sports-affiliated website. So it makes sense for the owners to say, stick to sports. But here we can see it in one of the most amazing things I've ever read, straight up saying the reason they're not going to stop talking about politics is not editorial purity. It's about growing the business and making money. That's what it's all about, isn't it? I love how they say that, I do what I do to make money. Well, first of all, don't we all? We do things that are trying to make money. But first and foremost, we're doing things that we are passionate about. Now, I recognize you are passionate about politics. I would recommend going to work for a political website, not a sports website. My channel, on the other hand, has literally always been news and politics. Always. I haven't changed. Could you imagine if my channel started off as sports commentary and then evolved to where it was today? People might question why that was, when in reality, my channel and my work has always centered around cultural politics, conflict, crisis, etc. And now the big story of these past few years has been the culture war, Trump, the presidency, etc. And that's what I talk about. And this. But I've been on the ground at multiple culturally political events around the world. That's what I do. Check this out. The reason this is fascinating is because we recently saw, well, I shouldn't say recently, but there was a post from The Outline, Mike's Drop, how Mike.com exploited social justice for clicks and then abandoned a staff that believed in it. Check this out. The Facebook-driven success was no accident. Every time Mike had a hit, it would distill that success into a formula and then replicate it until it was dead. Successful, quote, frameworks or headlines that went through this process includes, quote, science proves TK. In one perfect tweet, TK. TK reveals the one brutal truth about TK. I don't even know what that means. And TK celebrity just said TK thing about TK issue. Here's why that's important. At one point, according to an early staffer who had since left, news writers had to follow a formula with bolded sections, which ensured their stories didn't leave readers with any questions. The intro, the problem, the context, the takeaway. They distilled everything down to a social justice formula. Now, they were criticized for it, absolutely criticized for it. And here we can see former employee of Deadspin, I believe she's left. That was the big story recently. Straight up saying, that's what we do, and that's why we do it. So what then happens to the Democratic Party? What then happens to idealistic leftists who believe they're being told the truth, who believe they're getting honest opinions about politics, when in reality, they're going to a sports website, seeing something about a media company, and it's being shoveled down their throat in an attempt to get them to click, click, click. We all know it. Why should we trust the media? Here's what's really amazing. Earlier today, I did a segment. Donald Trump believes the media is trying to, derail his presidency and stop him from getting reelected. They're pushing a recession. I believe that is true in many circumstances. It's not like, every single media company does this, but there are certainly people who do it. But what we can see here is that many of them are only doing it to make money. We've known about the Trump bump, but what's truly fascinating with this story is this woman is proud. She's proud to say, we are doing this to make money. Not because we care, not for editorial purity. It's not about being an independent. It's about proving we can do business better than you. I love this because it falls into something I often see. People who are too in the weeds to see what's actually going on around them. You work for one site. The bosses are looking at all of the sites, probably saying something like, we already sell pizza over here. We don't need you making pizza. Our pizza business is doing great. In fact, all the pizza you're making, let's move it over. I'm using the analogy again, politics. You don't need politics in your video game content or in your sports content. You don't. You have a political site just for that reason. Why are technology, gaming, and sporting websites talking about media companies and politics? Well, yeah, we know it does better, but look, I know what food is the most popular. You can look at Grubhub statistics, and they'll show you that like pad thai and pizza are some of the most popular things ordered. Great, but people still open sushi restaurants. You can still make money selling a different product. But imagine if every time you did, the woke brigade said, we'll make more money by doing woke politics. Well, we don't need that. We have that already. And here they go admitting it. Now, they absolutely still go into detail about too many white men and all that stuff. At least that's my understanding. We also have information about Gawker, which I covered before. Gawker they were going to relaunch it. They've shuttered it. Check this out. I'm not going to read too much into the story, but it's from the Daily Dot. Why can't independent feminist media websites stay afloat? Interesting question, contrasted by the story we just saw. Now, feminist is much more specific than general politics, but I will stress, what if the people at Great Hill Partners who bought these companies can see that there is a short-term gain from politics and a long-term risk? And they've seen stories like this from just the other day, where these websites can't keep themselves afloat. Well, then they're probably going to say, we need to diversify. But it's mind-blowing that they would come out and just say it. It's not about editorial purity. It's about money, money, money. But I got a few other stories that I definitely want to highlight. First, the mic thing that I mentioned is not even old news. This story is from July 23rd, 2019 that talks about the exact same thing. They were talking about how these formulas for wokeness were being pushed, and in the end, it did not work. Maybe Great Hill Partners saw this story and said, your politics are a short-term gain, and they said, yeah, but we're making money, we're getting clicks. But for how long? Mike collapsed. We know that they were pushing these ridiculous formulas. But I do have more I want to go through because there's been some amazing developments in media, notably how Tucker Carlson is handling his business in the wake of the loss of advertisers, and BuzzFeed and the New York Times as well. Before we jump into that, though, I'm going to end with one final point. This woman who wrote about wanting to make money and not being about idealistic journalism or editorial purity is now going to work for Wired. And we have this story from the other day from WWD. I'm not familiar with what it is, but they say the media carousel, a roundup of who's been hired, fired, or maybe just jumped ship in the media land recently. I highlight this because they show several people who have gone to other companies. And I can tell you with personal experience, there are people who fail up all the time in media. They get fired from one job for doing miserably and get hired by another company. Now, look, I get it's an industry, so there are only so many people working in it. But there's a problem when you have a revolving door in these companies, and someone can fail miserably and then get hired by another company. And I know people who have failed miserably who got hired by The Atlantic and The New York Times. They're still failing miserably. Why hire these people? I don't get it. Perhaps they just don't know better, or perhaps it's an ivory tower pool of nepotism. They're all sitting up top in their infinity pool on top of the ivory tower, and whenever one person gets up to leave, they say, you can come over on my side. And then you see this story. Someone absolutely willing to admit they're not being driven by idealistic journalism. They're literally being driven by generating money. And that's why they will turn a sports website into a politics website, and then they go get hired by someone else. Check this out. From Bloomberg Businessweek, the sports news site haters love to dunk on keeps signing up subscribers. The Athletic now has more than 500,000 readers, but can it turn a profit? Perhaps the owners saw this and said, yes, we are getting views from politics, but look at these other companies that are sticking to sports. There is a real business here that we need to go after. They can't see it. They're in the weeds and they're swimming in politics, and they're going to tell their bosses they know better. Well, look, man, if you don't like it, you can leave. But if somebody wants to launch a sports website, I'm not surprised. The Athletic is doing ridiculously well, and this is from Bloomberg just, 5 days ago? 5 days ago. Now, here's what's interesting in the media landscape, outside of all this. We'll move into Tucker Carlson and something really, really fascinating. I was recently watching Tucker's show. Here's a story from The Wrap. Tucker Carlson's ads are down after he said that the white nationalism stuff was a hoax, that it wasn't a real problem. I understand the point he was trying to make. I think he made it poorly. It's not a hoax. It is a serious problem, but it's being inflated by people who are crazy. Case in point, we can look at who are sensationalizing on purpose or agenda-driven. Take a look at the Amazon rainforest stuff. I covered this yesterday. According to the New York Times, the fires are a normal part of agricultural cycles. Been going on for 20 plus years. It's not worse today than it was a few years ago, and it was substantially worse 10 years ago. Is it bad? Yeah, we got to stop the deforestation, but everyone acting like it's the worst thing, it's not true. Tucker Carlson, he says, the hoax and all that stuff, and the activists attack him. He loses advertisers. What does he do? This blew my mind. I was watching his show, and all of a sudden it cut to commercial, but the commercial was Tucker Carlson. And he was saying, basically, go to Fox Nation and sign up. And I said, it's really funny because that's literally what I do. And I don't believe I've done it yet, but I'll do it now. I say, go to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There's a PayPal option, a crypto option, a physical address, but here's the thing. I do that in every video. That's my core promo. If you like it, sign up. And that's the support I need, and I'm extremely grateful. But even Tucker Carlson is doing it now. The New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post are pushing heavily into a paywall subscription model. Even BuzzFeed is asking for donations. I think this is the direction we're going. Because advertisers are pulling out, we want subscribers. And this is where it all ties together. Look, first I'll say the activists going after Tucker, by all means. He's just going to keep pushing for subscriptions, and it's going to work. He's getting, 3 million? What was last night? Carlson got 3 million viewers, more than double MSNBC, more than double. You get 1% to subscribe, and you're good for a while. Now, Tucker's show probably requires a lot of money, but here's where it all gets tied back together. Tucker knows he can drive you to pay a subscription to Fox Nation to make up for the loss of ad revenue. Check this out. A sports news site has 500,000 readers, and they keep signing up subscribers. Subscribers are paying members. Right now, this Bloomberg is trying to get me to sign up, and they're not letting me read the whole story, but the headline's good enough. So then we can see how it ties back into Deadline. We don't need rage bait. We need a dedicated audience. And that's what these people don't understand. So we truly learn something profound from this article. It's incredible. Not only do they not understand business, they also are not driven politically. They want money and they don't get it. I wonder if Great Hill Partners saw this story from Bloomberg and said, this proves our point. We may lose overall numbers, but these people will pay us monthly. If I made a video where it was like, feminist does X, is someone going to contribute? They might. But what if I do political coverage that helps explain the world? It's longer. I mean, we're at 20 minutes nearly already. A lot more people are going to say, I want to pay for this premium kind of content that's very specific. I'm not super concerned about whether or not my video is going to generate 1 million views. Take a look at the video I did yesterday. I talked about the health of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I praised her for being, an honorable member of the Supreme Court and wishing her well. As she praised Brett Kavanaugh, I find that commendable. I know that's not going to get me 1 million views. I'm doing something I think is important, but it's also good business. I'm not going to make nonsense content just in hopes that I get enough clicks to get ad revenue. No, I'm going to make content in hopes that it's something truly valuable and that you share it and it grows from there. You make a good product, the audience comes. You make this woke rage bait nonsense, and eventually people, they'll click. But as I said last time, traffic is not an audience. This is signing up subscribers. That's money in the bank. Because you can go to your partners, you can go to the board of directors and say, we have 100,000 subscribers paying $10 a month. We're good. And then you can be truly independent and not worry about the rage bait. But these people are stuck in the culture war. I'll stress this point. I know that my content is very culture war-ish, and I have a certain perspective. I know you can go to my YouTube channel and see how I cover these stories. The point is, that's literally what my channel has always been. It's always been in some form cultural politics, traveling or talking about issues and talking about the same thing. The videos I started on this channel back in the day were me talking about top news. That's what I do, news. I wasn't a gaming channel turned politics. I wasn't a Magic the Gathering channel turned politics. No, I've always done news, politics, culture, conflict, crisis, etc. Sometimes I'll throw in something that's not super, relevant. I made a video about like a motivational video in May because I felt like I needed to do it. I needed to send out that message. And it didn't do that well. Got like 50,000 views, which is really low for my channel, but I thought it was something that was important I wanted to do. You can take a look at what they do at these woke media outlets. They're trying to get rage bait views. Well, maybe people know the best thing you can do, what you can do watching this video, is become a subscriber of my channel so that I can look to my business and see I'm guaranteed X revenue every month, or I can project. I don't know if a video is going to get views or not. I made a video about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and I said, I wonder if people care. I really do. I really wonder if people care. And you know what? It got less views on average. It got like half the views I normally get in the past month. About 140,000 views relative to what I was normally getting, 300. It teeters around there, but it's fine. It was important to talk about the issue, and my channel is political. Now, I'll end with this point. 3,200 people have lost their jobs so far this year in media landslide from just a couple of weeks, or from last month. This is a story that's frequently updated, but I will stress, the business models of yesterday don't work. They don't work. A company bought Gizmodo, a woke media company, and they have a staff who's living in 2013, obsessed with cultural politics. And they're saying it doesn't work. You've got to move on. We need subscribers. We need sports. We need to diversify our media network. Gizmodo is all wokeness. Like every single site writes about the same crap. So yeah, I'm not surprised they're saying stick to sports. We need to protect our business in the event the political stuff doesn't work anymore. And it probably won't. And now we're seeing over and over again. This is one of the worst years for media we've ever seen. And it's funny, they got Shane Smith, CEO, a former CEO of Vice, in the front who said, like 5 years ago, there was going to be a bloodbath in digital media, and boy, was he right. And it's only getting worse. You need to change your business model, and you can't expect to ride this wave of rage bait forever. I know that, but I make political content. It's what I do. I'll leave it there. Truly, truly amazing, isn't it? Let me know what you think in the comments. Seriously, comment, let me know what you think. Share this video if you like it. Subscribe if you like it. I'm going to keep doing my thing for one reason. I like talking about these issues. I like finding a story and then being like, wow, I need to talk about this. And it gives me a place to vent all these ideas. And it happens to work well for a business. And if at some point nobody cares to listen anymore, I'll probably still do it. I have fun doing it. And you know what? Subverse will grow, and that's a core business. And that's not going to chase after this nonsense of we're going to get rage bait clicks. Quite the opposite. We're going to produce a premium, content on the ground reporting, legitimate news, and hope that people are willing to subscribe to it. We're going to continue to do better and better so that people subscribe for news, because a paying subscriber is better than a rage bait click. And maybe these woke journalists should recognize that. Stick around. Next segment will be coming up. YouTube.com/TimCastNews at 6 p.m. It is a different channel, and I will see you all there.